The Hidden Secret to Fixing Back Pain, Part 5. Hey everybody, this is Mike Erlob with another episode of Power Your Life. It is so great to be back with you guys again. So yesterday morning, just want to kind of tell you a little story here. Yesterday morning, I stepped on the scale and I had lost some weight. This is something that I've been working on for a little while now. I kind of let it get away from me earlier in the summer, and so I rededicated myself to really focusing on my diet and focusing on my workouts and really just working on trying to get that body weight down to where I feel really comfortable. And you know, it's a constant battle. It's something you got to pay attention to every single day. I mean, it never ends. And you know, you just realize that this is just going to be a part of life going forward, you know, and that's why diets don't work, because you do it for a little period of time and then you go back to your old ways, and of course you put weight back on again. So, you know, it's really a dedication to a new lifestyle, to a new way of living. But, you know, I'm proud to say that I am down 10 pounds over the last 2 months. And you know, I got to tell you, it feels really good to be able to get back into some of those smaller clothes. You know, I had some jeans that I hadn't worn in quite a while. I'm able to get into those now. I've gone down a notch on my belt. It's just really cool. Actually, I'm going to probably have to buy some new clothes because some of the stuff I have just is too big for me now. So, you know, it just really feels good to be able to do that. And now, why am I telling you this? You know, why am I sharing this with you? Because the reason is, and what does this have to do with back pain and the hidden secret to back pain? And we've been talking all this time about the psoas. You know, what is losing weight have to do with the psoas? Well, believe it or not, the psoas is related to your weight loss. So now, you know, you thought that maybe I was done talking about the psoas? Think again. I mean, this muscle, you guys, this muscle is so incredibly important. You know, as I've discussed, you know, the psoas is linked to your fight or flight response. And you know, when you are facing danger, you're going to either curl up in a ball, or you're going to get ready to run, jump, fight. You know, you're going to do something. So now the psoas is closely related to such basic physical and emotional reactions that a chronically shortened or tightened psoas, it will send a signal to your body that you're in danger. So then what happens is your body's sympathetic nervous system activates your natural survival response. And this leads to adrenal gland activity, which in turn over time, it can actually start to deplete your immune system as long as your body thinks it's in danger. So here's what happens. You know, that tight psoas or tight hips, it sends the brain the signal that the body's in danger. This creates a feedback loop from the hips to the mind to the body to subconsciously stay in that survival state as long as the psoas is tight. Now, I really want you to think this through, okay? When your body is in a flexed position, like in a curled up position, okay? Think of it, you know, of course, like a fetal position, you curl, you know, together to protect yourself. But sitting in a chair, like I am right now, is still a flexed position, okay? So what happens is when you're in a flexed position for long periods of time, when you're sitting a lot, all right, we know that psoas is going to tighten, it's going to shorten. But that also triggers the mind to respond to the body as if it was in danger. And you see, this happens by that psoas being chronically shortened. And that's that feedback loop that I was just telling you about that makes the brain think, oh, the psoas is tightened down, so it must be trying to pull me into a fetal position, so the body must be in danger, and it triggers that entire sympathetic nervous system response. So sitting all day, you know, it causes those hips to tighten, which then makes the body think it's going into a fetal position, okay? The brain then associates this with survival, and guess what? That fight or flight response is kicked in. So now the adrenal glands, they're going to try and help control our stress response. And they do this by different hormones that are produced, such as cortisol. So high adrenal gland activity, you know, this helps the body prepare for trouble by storing fat. The other thing that starts to happen with these increased stress levels and increased stress hormones is that your insulin levels will also increase. So when cortisol and insulin levels start to increase, your body is going to start to store body fat. And now you're going to store that body fat, all the extra calories or anything you're taking in, because of that stress, is just going to go right to your midsection. It's going to go to your abdomen. It's going to go to your thighs. So no wonder that these are problem areas for a lot of us. So this happens whether the threat is real or not, okay? So for most of us, our everyday stressors that we face, they really don't require a true fight or flight response. But your body doesn't know that. So when you're in that sitting position, it is going to trigger that because of the chronic shortening and tightening of the psoas. So sitting will cause you to gain weight around the midsection, and it's not just because you're inactive. It's important to know that this is because of the subconscious activation of the fight or flight response and those adrenal glands. So now here's the kicker to that. You see, a tight psoas will not only make you store body fat, but it actually will start to make you look fat. So what do I mean by that? Well, have you ever seen somebody with a pot belly? We've kind of seen those. Even a skinny person, we've seen those folks. Where they're pretty skinny, but yeah, you look at them from the side and you see that pot belly sticking out. Well, that happens because of poor posture from a tight psoas. So someone who has a tight psoas, they can have a pot belly, which makes them look fat, okay? And you can even tell if that truly is the psoas doing it, because when you push on their belly, it's hard, it's not soft, it's hard and tight. Now body fat, if they were carrying that midsection fat, body fat is soft and fleshy feeling, but a pot belly's not, it's really, really hard. So what's going on here? Well, what I wanted to show you was with my model is it's all because of the tight psoas and how it pulls on the back and the hips, okay? So we've talked about the psoas. It comes off of the lumbar spine. Can you see me here? We're good? Okay. So it comes off the lumbar spine on both sides, and it travels through the stomach and through the pelvis, and then right down here is where your legs are. They're just not on this model, but it attaches to those legs, right down there. It attaches to the femur. Now, what happens is when a person's sitting and the psoas becomes shortened, the spine, when you go to stand up, it'll pull forward on that spine, okay? So this increases the curvature. If I turn to the other side, it increases the curvature, what we call a lumbar lordosis. It makes it curve inward more because the psoas is pulling on that, all right? When that happens, when that curves in, your pelvis tips forward. So this is the front, that's the back. So your pelvis will tip forward in what we call an anterior pelvic tilt. Now, you have the front abdominal muscles, and in particular the lower abdominal muscles, which are actually attaching to the front part of your pelvis. So when your pelvis tips forward in that anterior tilt, it actually stretches out those lower abdominal muscles. And muscles that get stretched out, they lose their strength and their ability to function. Just like muscles that get too tight. So if a muscle, is not at its proper length, it's not at the right length in order to contract. It's either too stretched out or it's too contracted, shortened up. It loses its ability to function like it should. Now remember, we talked about in the previous parts that the key to all function in the body is balance. So the loss of strength in these lower abdominals combined with the tilting of that pelvis forward is what gives a person that potbelly look. Then what can happen is those abdominal organs can start to shift forward too. So as the psoas is pulling forward, it's creating that curvature, lordosis in the lumbar spine. The pelvis tips forward, the lower abdominals get stretched out, then the stomach contents start shifting forward. Okay? And this is what creates that potbelly appearance. And it's really directly linked then to a lot of back pain issues too, because as it pulls forward, guess what? It really jams up those facet joints in back, and it can really create a lot of pain that way. So the psoas is so critical to so many other areas of your body as well. So not only can it affect, how you gain weight and how you lose weight, and it can affect the way that you look, But we're going to talk about here next time about how the psoas can affect your energy levels. Because it's directly linked to many of the emotions within the body and just the overall energy level that you have on a day-to-day basis. So if you ever feel that you're, you just don't have the energy, you feel like I did today. I was telling Arena, I just felt kind of out of it today, all right? Your psoas can play a part in that. But we're going to get more into that next time. If you haven't gotten a copy of my new ebook, The 5 Best Kept Secrets to Fast Back Pain Relief, you can get yours simply by emailing me at mike@flex-pt.com or shoot me a Facebook message on Messenger and we'll make sure we get that to you. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Wilfred Peterson, and what he said was, "Forgiveness works the miracle of change." I'm going to let that one soak in for you. But until next time, power your life and keep moving forward.